Have you ever experienced this strange sensation? Just when your mind calms down, your heart connects to something greater, and you reach deeper levels of spiritual connection. Something mysterious happens. Suddenly, a wave of disjointed thoughts overwhelms you. Intense desires arise without warning. Impulses you don't even recognize as your own are dominating you. And the most fascinating thing is, why does this happen precisely at moments of maximum spiritual elevation? Why does this inner storm arise after deep meditation, sincere prayer, or a moment of absolute lucidity? No, my friends, this is not a coincidence. What you are experiencing goes beyond a mere natural physical impulse. This is an energetic disturbance designed to destabilize your spiritual frequency. Today, we explore territory few dare to explore. The true nature of sexual desire as a spiritual battlefield. When you approach the divine source, or as Tesla calls it, cosmic intelligence, something extraordinary happens. Your spiritual senses sharpen, your perception expands. You are becoming more sensitive to the subtle frequencies that permeate existence. And therein lies the danger to systems that operate in the dark. The more sensitive you become, the more of a threat you become to forces that feed on lower vibrations. You are beginning to see beyond the veil, to perceive manipulations and recognize patterns. This represents an immense risk for those who wish to keep humanity asleep. This interference, which you perceive after a few moments of spiritual connection, is not random but strategic. It's a dark spiritual technology, programmed to hijack your attention and lower your vibration. Do you think it's just desire? Just a natural biological impulse? Look closer. It's frequency manipulation. As Tesla taught us, the entire universe is vibration. You are composed of energetic impulses, condensed light, consciousness manifesting as energy. Silent, intelligent forces study your emotional cycles. They pick up on your mental frequencies, catalog your emotional memories, and identify your recurring patterns. They know where to attack, which frequency to broadcast, and understand that if they separate you, even for a few minutes, they can delay your consciousness expanding process. They don't persecute you for your weakness. You are being observed because you vibrate differently. You carry something unique within you, an energy field capable of transforming the environment, influencing other consciousnesses, and expanding the spiritual atmosphere around you. Observe carefully. The most powerful disruptions don't occur when you're distracted. They occur precisely when you begin to energetically align with your higher purpose. The energy that tries to distract you isn't chaotic. It's extremely intelligent. It doesn't act randomly. It works with precise, spiritual algorithms based on everything that has wounded your soul, everything that has triggered you emotionally in the past, everything that still vibrates at a low frequency in your energy field. It presents itself as a passing pleasure, but its true purpose is to separate your soul from the higher network of consciousness. In fact, you are at war. But it is not a physical war. It's a vibrational battle being waged in the invisible realm, affecting your psyche, emotions, sexuality, and cellular memory. As Tesla so aptly pointed out, if you wish to understand the mysteries of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. You were created to generate light, circulate pure energy, and transmit an authentic spiritual signature to this world. But every time you connect with dense vibrational patterns, disjointed impulses, negative thought patterns, and fantasies that don't resonate with your soul, you activate layers of energetic distortion. The field around you begins to fluctuate. Your spiritual perception becomes clouded. Your intuition is losing clarity, and your spiritual focus is diluting. The human body, in its natural state, is a perfect conductor of divine energy. Far from being negative, sexual desire is one of the most powerful energy currents, comparable to electricity in its creative power. However, if this energy is activated at the wrong time, that is, if it is not aligned with the higher purpose, it ceases to be a vector of creation and becomes a tool of energetic degradation. It is like an overload of an electrical circuit. The system collapses. The light goes out. Understand, you are not weak. You are sensitive. And this sensitivity connects you to the higher dimensions of existence. This sensitivity requires awareness, because the higher your vibrational frequency, the more sophisticated the disturbances that seek to bring you down become. You are being tested, not because you have failed, but because you are about to cross an important energetic threshold. Any dimensional transition requires inner stability. It is impossible to access higher levels of consciousness if one carries within oneself fragments of frequencies incompatible with this new state. It is necessary to be energetically pure, free of all interference and in perfect harmony. Have you ever noticed how certain impulses arise the very moment you make a spiritual leap? As if some invisible force knows exactly where to start, which frequency to influence, and which emotional memory to activate. This is no coincidence. It is a highly developed energy technology, intelligence, applied to the invisible field of subtle forces. Every time you illuminate a new level of inner consciousness, a movement of resistance appears in the energy field around you. And this movement doesn't come from outside. It is activated by resonance with what is still vibrating at a low frequency in your own field. Sexual desire is not, in essence, her flaw in creation. It is an integral part of your original purpose as a human being, a powerful flow of energy designed to create connection, expansion, and vital continuity. In alignment with higher purposes, this desire opens doors of sacred connection, emotional synchronicity, and spiritual depth. But when this energy is diverted from its primary function, it can be used against us. What was once a creative power becomes energetic noise. What was once a channel of divine expression becomes a vibrational prison. What was once a sacred pleasure becomes an energetic distortion. The physical body still reacts to stimuli, but the soul retreats into silence. The energy continues to flow, but the field vibrates at a reduced frequency. You feel a brief moment of relief, but soon after an existential void sets in. This is the crucial point. It's not just the act itself, but the invisible exchange that occurs on an energetic level. Every time you give in to an impulse that doesn't align with your higher purpose, you send out a vibrational signal that connects you to a frequency that doesn't nourish you spiritually. This only drains your life energy. This is why solitary pleasure is often followed by awkward silence. The mind begins to doubt. Mental concentration weakens. The soul withdraws. Have you ever noticed that just when you decide to pursue your spiritual path, someone from your past suddenly appears? A painful memory resurfaces out of nowhere. An emotional trigger is activated, or an intense desire invades your mind without any discernible logic. This happens because the energy system designed to keep you asleep recognizes that you are about to cross a boundary, a key vibrational barrier. At this critical moment, the attack comes, but it is camouflaged. It doesn't present itself as a direct confrontation or an obvious threat. It happens subtly, disguised as temporary relief, fleeting pleasure, or immediate emotional reward. And if you're not fully aware of it, you can easily mistake this energetic sabotage for a natural bodily reaction. That's why after giving in to the impulse, a dense energetic charge emerges. Momentary satisfaction is followed by regret. Fantasy is followed by excitement. But understand this. This isn't about moralism or religious judgment. We're talking about the principle of conservation of energy. By giving in to these erroneous impulses, you give up something that belongs to you, something sacred and vital, in exchange for a brief moment of escape. And it's not you feeding off this energy. It's the system that keeps your consciousness inactive and limited. By giving in, you allow a frequency of confusion to settle into your energy field. And this comes with the typical symptoms: constant doubt, chronic procrastination, crippling guilt, deep insecurity, loss of spiritual identity, negative thought patterns, and a subtle but gradual drifting away from your divine essence. Have you ever noticed how everything seems to waver when you decide to raise your vibration? When you strive to escape spiritual stagnation, something in your surrounding energy field trembles violently. It's as if by emitting a new frequency, you are altering invisible structures anchored in your old vibrational pattern. And make no mistake, this is absolutely real. When the spiritual field recognizes that your energy signature is transforming, opposing forces quickly organize to prevent this change. You decide to quiet your mind through meditation, and suddenly mental noises multiply. You begin a sincere process of energetic purification, and old desires resurface with unusual force. You clarify your consciousness through spiritual exercises, and suddenly a disturbing memory, a seductive image, an irresistible distraction arises. Everything is resurfacing, as if trying to bring you back to your previous state. This is vibrational resistance, a clear sign that you are about to cross an important dividing line, the one that separates mental noise from spiritual clarity, uncontrolled impulses from conscious presence, emotional chaos from higher alignment. Observe this phenomenon. The clearer your energy field, the more subtle the disturbances become. They no longer manifest blatantly. They appear under the guise of familiar comfort, a sense of belonging, and temporary relief. But this is just the latest manifestation of an energy system that is trying to hinder your evolution. You feel the inner call. You are ready to expand your consciousness, but the external and internal pressure is increasing. And this pressure doesn't increase because you're failing on your path. It increases precisely because you're on the verge of spiritual liberation. At this critical point, the control system panics. Not out of fear of your past or your limitations, but out of fear of what you might become if you finally manage to break through those barriers. After giving in to a misguided impulse, what remains is not a sense of true peace, but a disturbing inner turmoil, an invisible energetic hiss, as if your vibrational field has temporarily lost its coherence and stability. For a few moments, you stop feeling like yourself. This feeling goes beyond simple psychological guilt. It's a temporary drop in vibration. You have connected to something whose frequency is lower than your true nature. Your physical body still reacts with fleeting pleasure, but your soul silently cries out, recognizing the energetic dissonance. This is because, fundamentally, you are designed to operate at a higher vibrational frequency. Your spiritual system was created by God to transmit light, truth, purity, and clarity. If you allow yourself to be carried away by impulses that are not aligned with your divine origin, your energy will temporarily fragment. Imagine your mind as a powerful magnetic field. With every decision that doesn't align with your higher purpose, you weaken that magnetic force and gradually attract the same experiences: guilt, mental confusion, repetitive behaviors. The system that analyzes your energy patterns understands this mechanism. There's no need to attack you directly anymore. It simply activates the corresponding emotional triggers and watches. You sabotage your own expansion of consciousness. This is where a transformative element comes into play. Fasting. Fasting does not mean punishing the body for its desires. It is about temporarily silencing the urges of the flesh so that the spirit can express itself more clearly. It's about reducing external noise to better capture the true internal signal. When you fast, whether from food, digital stimuli, or sensory pleasures, you send a powerful signal to your energy system. I consciously change the source of my vital nourishment. With this decision, your vibrational field begins to naturally rebalance. You begin to clearly discern what is truly aligned with your divine essence and what was simply external noise, disguised as need. Conscious solitude is another powerful element in this process. When you consciously choose it, it doesn't mean absence or negative isolation. It's a spiritual expansion. In sacred silence, your frequency aligns with higher dimensions. The most profound spiritual revelations occur in conscious isolation. Far from the hustle and bustle of the crowd, true inner renewal manifests in all its fullness. A silent code paralyzes countless consciousnesses in their spiritual development. Shame, it doesn't scream loudly, but whispers in the darkness of the mind, nestling between thoughts, mingling with painful memories, and gradually distancing you from your true spiritual identity. Shame whispers that you have strayed too far from the path of shadow, that you have failed so many times that there is no turning back, that your being is irreparably destroyed. But all this is an elaborate, energetic lie. Shame is a specific frequency of spiritual imprisonment. It can only survive in the dark recesses of the mind, in the silence of isolation, in hidden mystery. He wants to convince you that your momentary mistake defines your permanent identity, that your temporary deviation determines your ultimate destiny. But you are not defined by what has hurt you or temporarily brought you down. Your being is defined by the force that drives you forward, even when everything indicates the impossibility of continuing. The spiritual adversary doesn't just want you to fall. He wants you to keep your experiences private. He wants you to hide your vulnerability. Let it be in your suffering, for where the light of shared consciousness does not penetrate, The energy field remains distorted and manipulable. Therein lies a transformative truth. The most powerful spiritual force in the universe doesn't seek perfect life systems. It seeks available and receptive energy fields. While you deem yourself incapable and unworthy, the universe is simply patiently waiting for an opening in your energy field to unfold. Even if you consider yourself spiritually incompetent, higher powers are constantly trying to remind you. You are a channel of light, a bridge between dimensions, a healing frequency in human form. So, have you ever experienced falls along the way? Then get back up and show those who have also fallen how to find the strength to rise again. Have you ever given in to impulses you later regretted? Then find your center again and light that path for others. Have you ever felt paralyzing shame? Transform it into active compassion for those who suffer as silently as you do. The collective energy field only changes when someone courageously decides to stop hiding behind the masks of illusory perfection. When you say, "My soul is not for sale," you are not just speaking words. You are radiating a specific vibrational frequency that resonates throughout the universe. True spiritual awakening occurs not when you experience a new and pleasant sensation, but at the decisive moment when you decide to cease being a slave to the forces that have held you captive. No struggle, no impulse that has challenged you. No tear shed in secret has destroyed you. Everything has been carefully orchestrated to shape you, awaken dormant aspects of your consciousness, and ultimately convey a fundamental truth. You are a warrior of the invisible realm, carrying an energetic code capable of disarming control systems. If this video deeply touched you, please consider liking it as a sign of your energy. Share this message with anyone you feel needs it right now. And leave the phrase "I vibrate outside the system" in the comments, not just as words, but as a vibrational signal that communicates your intention to the universal energy field. Never forget, when those chosen to bear the light finally realize who they truly are, the forces of darkness will find nowhere to hide. This is not just your personal battle. This is your cosmic rebirth. This is your activation code. This is your original vibrational signature, reappearing on the surface of consciousness.